Saves marriages. Some say I'm a goddess with both brains and compassion. I say I'm 20% girl brain and 100% fun. I want to help you navigate the labyrinth that is the female mind. If you're not having sex with her, what are you even doing? It's only too much sex when it interferes with your mission. What we're talking about translates not only into success with women, but into social and business interactions across the board with anyone. I want you to win in life, in business, and primarily in sex. I'm like Dr. Ruth meets Nina Hartley, except I only take my clothes off in public when there's tequila shots involved. I'm so excited for the show. Are you ready? Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Bunny Show Live. I am so excited you're here. And additionally, I am so excited because for the first time in how long was the break that we did not have a live option for video on Twitter, or as we are now calling it, X. So I am so excited to be broadcasting simultaneously live on the social media platform Twitter X, as well as our standard issue YouTube. So yes, that's very exciting. I have been waiting for Twitter X to catch back up and get back in here. So I am pumped. Thank you so much for joining me today. Whether you are used to catching this show live or sometimes watch it after the fact, I am very happy that you're here. This is called Bunny Church for a reason. We get in here and we do some deep dives into relevant topics in attraction, relationships, sex, game, all the ways that I can help to kind of differentiate men and women and their thoughts on attraction. I say that I'm 20% girl brain, 100% fun, because I have just enough girl brain to help explain why in the world women think the way they do, behave the way they do, treat you the way they do, treat relationships. Today, we are going to focus specifically on love. And before all of you turn off your phones, click out of this, I want to explain. So I have always said that men show their love through providing, through doing, through some of the more traditional gender roles, which I'm a big fan of, that indicate that he is the masculine leader of the relationship. This is how men show love. So they get squeamish at the word love, but when I say love, I think that everyone kind of has their own take on it, especially from gender to gender. Women show love through the emotional stuff, through the relationship stuff, through the nurturing side of their personalities. So we're going to really deep dive into that because I think that this is an important topic for men and women alike to really wrap their heads around and understand. It's similar in kind to if you were born under a rock, maybe you haven't heard of this, but to the 5 love languages. It's similar in that vein, in that it's the way of each of us expressing our care for the other. So we're going to start there, and I am very excited. If you are watching on Twitter X, I do not think that I'm going to be able to see your comments in real time. So just be aware of that. I encourage you to make them. I hope to see them after the fact. But if you're asking specific questions at this time, I'm not going to be able to see those. So just so you're kind of aware of what's going on there. If you join in the YouTube link that I sent out in my post earlier, I will be able to see in the chat box like the conversation going on. So that's the way to reach out to me right now. If you have any questions or comments or just want to say hi. So, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I'd like to start by giving my 2 cents. This is a lot of my 2 cents. Let's face it, it's my show. That's how that works. But men show love indirectly. I'm going to say you show it indirectly because you show it through accomplishing great things, through getting a better job, through promoting through the ranks. You show love through your accomplishments, through better skill sets, through showing your authority and your leadership. These are the ways that men truly present their love to the person or people who matter most in their world. So let's say a man loves and respects his parents. He appreciates how they raised him. He appreciates that they're getting older and can't provide as well for themselves. He appreciates all that they sacrificed for him so that he could have this life that he now has. Most of the time, and I speak in grand generalizations, this is no secret. I'm very open about that because that's what the majority of people are dealing with and need to hear. Most of the time in that scenario, a man will provide a house for his parents. He will provide financial support. He will assist them in financial provider kinds of ways. He will take on the burden of their needs from a provider standpoint. This is how men oftentimes show their love and their respect and their appreciation for their parents. Women show love directly. They want to come directly to the source. They want to say, I love you. They want to say, what do you need right now? How can I help you? How can I touch you? How can I focus on you right now in order for you to understand that I love you? This is the difference between men and women. An indirect love, an indirect show of love, and a direct show of love. And this is also, this kind of split or this dichotomy is also the reason that men and women kind of lose track of one another whenever they kind of settle in to more of a routine in their relationship, when they are more of a long-term thing, when they're married, whether they're dating long-term or just in a long-term relationship, have been together a while, and kind of the routine starts to set in. And I don't mean that in a negative way. We all have our kind of schedules and our ebbs and flows, and we do things together and separately. And this is the natural course of a long-term relationship of any kind. So in those kinds of scenarios, one of the biggest arguments that I hear from friends, from Twitter, from social media across the board, on Facebook, and this is also where art actually does imitate life. There's a lot of times where the argument is, a couple is in an argument, and she's mad because he's not around more. he's not able to participate more. He didn't come to this recital, or he didn't attend this lunch, or he wasn't able to make it to this sporting event, or she wanted to go on a date and he had something else going on. He had a work event. He had a big project going. This is where men's indirect show of love and women's direct show of love come into clash in real time all the time, very often in real world scenarios. So he says things like, you know, what do you mean I don't do anything around here? Look at this. This is what I'm working so hard to provide, so you can have that nice house. You wanted the kitchen, you know, You wanted to be in this specific neighborhood. This is why we've got all this. This is why, because I love you. This is how I show it, is I provide all of this. And this is what men say when women are complaining that she's not getting enough one-on-one time. She's not getting enough emotional need for her emotional support to be expressed and met. And this is where this kind of lesson, this kind of bunny church really, really does matter a great deal, because you guys, the better you understand this dichotomy and the reason that she's behaving the way she is and speaking the way she is and doing the things that she does, and the better she can understand how you're showing your love, the better your relationship can be. What I have found is in long-term, genuinely happy relationships, everyone has their role and everyone plays their part, and everyone appreciates the fact that they're playing their role and the other partner is playing theirs, and everyone is playing their key parts. Like being on stage, it's very similar. You have your role. No one's asking the star of the show to also be the stage manager. No one's asking one of the bit characters to also run the spotlight. It doesn't work. But that's the kind of thing that happens in relationships where the two parties don't really understand why the other one's behaving this way, why the other one can't be everything to everyone, and why you're having to pull the weight on this side and the other's having to pull their weight on this side. These are the problems that come up. He says, I'm providing all of this. This is how I show my love. And she's saying, I'm giving you all of this. I made your lunch. I told you I loved you. I texted you 5 times and I didn't hear back from you. These are the ways that women come directly and men go indirectly in showing their love, their respect, their provision, their nurturing for you. This is a lot to take in. I think this is, it sounds so simple, and it's actually a game changer for the happiness and the quality of relationships and in turn life. Because listen, you want to see some unhappy lives, you talk to your friends who have terrible marriages. It infiltrates and infects every aspect of life. And it doesn't matter if you are king of the world, if you've got terrible relationship with your wife, your girlfriend, your primary rotation girl. Although let's face it, if she's a rotation and she's pulling this stuff, she probably isn't going to be on the top of the heap for long. But it does not matter the girl that you are thinking in your head about whenever we're having these kinds of conversations. It matters that the quality of that relationship will improve countless times by understanding the indirect and direct ways that men and women show love and respect for one another and how they also receive it. So I want to kind of go through just kind of some checkpoints. Okay. So I've got all my notes here like usual. So men need respect. This is how they want you to show love, is by respecting them. So men need respect from outside sources. They need respect at work. They need respect from their peers at work. They need respect from their children. They need respect in their household as well as outside of their household. They need respect from their wives, their girlfriends, the women that they have in their world. Because when men are respected, that's how they feel, whatever our semblance of love is. Okay. So I heard one of my consults turned friends once said to me something so profound. He said, you know, I'm looking for this teenage love that I have not found since I was a teenager. Since that very first love, I haven't been able to replicate it. I haven't been able to find that sensation again. And this is fair because, you know, and he's even been married and divorced since then. He's had girlfriends that he liked, that he was very attracted to. But there's something about men having that teenage love experience when they're teenagers that can never be, I would say, replicated or improved upon. Women are the opposite. Women have that teenage love, and then through the years, they only improve upon it. Every true love that they feel beyond that first one is seeking to improve upon what was built in the past. So it's the complete opposite. Again, a complete and total dichotomy of men versus women. And yet, this is why I always say it. And you guys laugh when I say this, but this is why I drive the point home again and again about men cannot treat women like guys without dicks. We do not think the same. We don't process the same. We don't express ourselves the same ways. Men and women are human beings, and that is the only similarity there is. Everything else is so different and so unique to one gender or the other that it's so difficult then for men who are looking to their girls and expecting them to think of things objectively, think of things from a rational point of view, understand that A plus B equals C. And she's not like that at all. She's over here and he's like a straight line. This is why I say that you cannot speak to women. You cannot have expectations of the woman in your life, your sister, your mother, your coworkers or peers that are female, your wife, your girlfriend. You cannot expect her to behave in the same way that a man would. But you do it all the time. It's a classic male thing to do, to expect that everyone else is on the same page as you. So finding that, going back to this client turned friend, you know, looking for that teenage love to be replicated or improved upon becomes an exercise in frustration. So, you know, he was frustrated that he could not find that again. And this is that Disney belief. This is that Disney belief in love and romance and fate and happenstance and serendipity. He wanted to find it because it felt so good. He wanted to find that teenage love again because it is magical. It's a magical thing whenever the first time, generally, you know, like late junior high, I would say teen years, high school, maybe even into college if you're a little bit more of a late bloomer or just didn't have weren't surrounded by the opportunity as much for a lot of great options in the dating field. Maybe you had strict parents and weren't able to really get out of the house much until college, and then you kind of broke loose. Wherever it was that you established that first feeling of true love, that's what we're calling teenage love. And that's what men are seeking in every other relationship after, and very rarely find. You don't find it because the youthfulness is gone. I mean, no, even a 22-year-old isn't going to have the youthful enthusiasm of a 16-year-old. She has more pressures on her. A 35-year-old woman is going to have the pressures of being a 35-year-old woman, likely divorced with children at home, likely with a career of some kind, or at least a job, parents to take care of. The 16-year-old in that teenage love fantasy that you have memory of had none of that stuff on her plate. The likelihood is, in very few exceptions, the likelihood is she had very few stressors. She had nothing but fun and what she felt like doing, and how she felt like, loving you was free and clear, open, nothing getting in the way, not even school. I mean, school pressures aren't even a thing when you're in that teen love phase of life. You have assignments, but they don't really impact anything as far as your teenage romance goes. So this is why it's so difficult for men to find that sensation again. That's the most beautiful relationship that men generally have. Women, on the other hand, they have that same beautiful teenage love fantasy and foundation. And then they continue to build from there. So then their college boyfriend gets compared to their high school boyfriend. And they try to take it to the next level beyond what the high school relationship could provide. So that's where maybe they want to start talking about marriage. They want to start pushing a little harder into a little bit more adult relationship. They want to do things as a college relationship that you just couldn't do in a high school relationship. And I'm not even talking about sex. I'm talking about like the freedoms and the joys of the responsibility, the fun parts of adulthood where you have responsibility, but it's not really real responsibility in a lot of ways. That's where that college romance comes into play. So she loves that because it gives you more opportunity to build on the relationships of high school of your past. If that college sweetheart doesn't become your lifelong husband and the father of your children, and you're married for 35 to 50 years, then there are more relationships. But each one of them, for females, keeps building and seeking to improve upon that foundational first love. So men and women see completely differently in this area. Men find it almost impossible to replicate or improve upon the first love. That's why women always feel in competition with the girl that you said you were in love with in high school. That's why. Because we know deep inside, even though for all intents and purposes, we're a better fit. Let's say I'm a better fit for Fort Worth, but it still stresses me out. It still makes me uneasy. It still causes dread whenever I think about, his high school sweetheart, the love that he had then. And this is a totally normal thing. Girls can't get past that because we know that it's very difficult for men to get past. Now, if men circle back and rekindle that high school relationship, oftentimes it does not work out. It doesn't work out. And I talk about not circling back to old relationships pretty consistently. So you've probably heard me talking about it, but understand the reason that men, you want to circle back to it is because no one else has ever stacked up to that memory in your head of how that first love made you feel, how she loved you, how you felt when you're together, because everything was new and exciting and all these sensations. It's almost like I understand the ecstasy is. I think that that's how men experience first love. It's that first hit is unlike any other. Beyond that, your receptors are blown and you'll never feel that height of excitement, that height of passion, the way that you did when you were in that first time. Women, we want to build on that. We want to remember our first loves. That's why if men are insecure about a woman's first boyfriend, high school boyfriend, she's like, why are you jealous of him? He's like this fat guy married to, this old woman now, and they've got the ugliest kids on the planet, and their house is nice, but she thinks nothing of it. She remembers him fondly. She remembers her time with him fondly, but she's like, you're far better. I would have been miserable in that relationship. I would have been, I probably could have done it. I probably could have been in that life, but why would I want to? I have you, I have what we've built, and this is what matters to me. This is where, again, there's just this dichotomy. And all of this helps explain the differences in the way men versus women love. This is all coming full circle. It all matters, and it's all critical to the way that you show love and receive love. Next steps. Next steps. So whenever men are showing love, they show love through providing. They show love through making sure she has a nice car, a reliable vehicle, a home to be proud of, a home to care for and raise children in. Financial stability, making sure that the family is comfortable and has a foundation of strength and stability. This is what the men bring to the relationship, to the love relationship, to the family, even to the extended family. Like I said earlier in the show, talking about providing for the parents, because that's his show of love. That's his show of respect for what his parents provided him. And then in turn, he doesn't shower them with words. He showers them with shows of respect, because that's the way that you show your love as men. So he provides home. He provides financial stability. He provides material possessions. Look around you. Would we have all of this if I didn't work that job that you're complaining about now that takes all my time? These are the arguments that are standard issue in most relationships and in most households. And then on the back end of things, men show their love, and we're going to dig into this a little bit more in a bit, but men show their love for their wife, their girlfriend, by being the steadfast, strong leader when she is an emotional wreck, when she is emotionally struggling, when she comes to him because she's falling apart. He shows his love by being there. And this is a tricky one, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But he shows his respect for her, which is his love, by respecting that she's struggling and being there to hear it out. Now, this is not what we're talking about when we talk about the 20-second rule and, you know, if she's just throwing a fit, if she's throwing a temper tantrum, if she's being a brat, if she's just being an asshole, not the same thing. So if she's being disrespectful by throwing a temper tantrum, by saying, you know, screaming and yelling and throwing a fit at you, that's where that 20-second rule comes in. That's when you say, you have 20 seconds to say everything that you want to say, and then we're going to go on about our lives. You're going to drop it, or you're going to excuse yourself. You're going to leave the house. I'm going to leave the house. We're not going to be together if you just feel like screaming and yelling. But you can have 20 seconds to say everything that you want to say that's upsetting you right now, and then we're going to move on from this. That is not what we're talking about when we're talking about the shows of respect and shows of emotional support for your woman when she's struggling. Okay, so those are two very different things and two very different ways of dealing with the woman in your life. One is from a point of respect, and one is very much from a side of disrespect. Women, on the other hand, are incredibly nurturing. At our core, we are created to be your helper. We're created to be your assistant, to make your life easier. What I've always said is my dream job is to be like your number one cheerleader. I just want to be everyone's head cheerleader. And if I could like make a living just being essentially like cheering people on and being excited for your accomplishments and what you're trying to do and the goals that you've got in front of you and are wanting to push for and all of that, then I would do it. And I feel like in a lot of ways, all of my little jobs, all of my ways of interacting with others, even this kind of, you know, dating, relationships, and sex, like all of this revolves around me encouraging you to have the highest quality life you can have. Because if you have the highest quality relationships you can have, if you have the highest quality sexual connections and intimacy that you can have, then you truly do achieve a spectacular life and a high quality of life. And that is my ultimate goal here. So I feel like I get to do that. I feel like I do get to be your number one cheerleader, and that's awesome. Because women need to be nurturers. Back to that, women show love directly. I'm like, you are awesome. You're incredible. You are going to kick ass and take names at this job. You are, you know, a rock star in every facet. You're hot, you're sexy, you're beautiful, you're desirable. All of this stuff is how women show their love. It's through their nurturing. They show it directly by being supportive, by, you know, making lunches, by making beds, by making dinner at night, by shuttling kids around. We show our love by making sure that if you've got an early meeting, you've got a great breakfast or you've got everything that you need. We show our love by saying, did you take your vitamins? Did you take your pills? Did you remember to grab your water bottle? Do you have your glasses with you? What else do you need for the trip? Is there anything that I need to buy at the store? I'm going to the store, you know, is there anything specific you have been craving lately? Or is there anything specific that you need for your upcoming trip that's coming up? This is how women show their nurturing. We build beautiful houses. We fill our homes with ways to make you feel comfortable when you're there. to make our children feel happy and comfortable, to make others, when they come into our home, feel like they can relax and completely just sink into the feelings that they want to feel when they're in your presence. This is how women show our love. It's direct. So where men in their financial support role, that indirect show of love, look around and go, we don't need one more thing we don't need one more throw blanket. Why do we have all these pillows? Where did that come from? When did you buy that? Women are like, this is creating the space that allows me to show my love to you. These are the dichotomous ways that men and women think. And all of it plays into showing love, respect, nurturing, both indirectly and directly for one another. It all plays in. It all matters. So women need to care for others. We need to, when girlfriends are struggling, when a girlfriend is sick, a female friend of a woman, we jump into high gear. We create, schedules where we can make sure that every meal is covered. We offer to carpool the children. We find ways to lift her up and celebrate her. When these are the ways that women show love and care for one another, is by directly going to the source and saying, what do you need? What can I do? I did this for you. I did this to make your life better. This is what we want to do. This is how we show our love. So by taking care of children, by taking care of parents, extended family members, our girlfriends, women are wired. We were truly created to care for others. You are supposed to be our priority. You are supposed to be, biblically speaking, the man in our life, is supposed to be absolutely number one. Make no mistake. A lot of people get this wrong. And that's where those 6 steps to a winning relationship that's like my signature thing, I pound home over and over and over and over again. Because, and I don't remember which rule it is, I think it was 2. Women are also notorious for prioritizing kids and parents, and sometimes even girlfriends, above their relationship with you. And this is oftentimes more of a symptom of not feeling like it's reciprocated or appreciated from you, but they feel like it's appreciated and reciprocated other places. Women aren't going to nurture forever if we're not feeling seen for doing it. Men are not going to work themselves to the bone forever if they're not feeling appreciated for what they provide. It's the same thing. These are 2 sides of the same coin. So she wants to provide and give and cheer on and support and be your number one head cheerleader. She wants these things, whether you think you need them or not. She wants to do those for you. So when you're wondering why your wife is texting you and saying, I'm so excited for your meeting, I hope it goes well, da, 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 da. Or she's like, you're going to do great today, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. All of this is her way of making sure that you know that she loves you. It may to you be an annoyance because it's one more text, one more message, one more hug, one more kiss on your way out the door when you don't have time for it. You're in action. You're an action taker. Men are designed to be action takers. Women are designed to be nurturers. So while you find it slightly annoying, an interruption, a hindrance, that's how she's showing you her love. period. So I think that this is where internal and external validation come into play. Men are externally validated. Let me explain what I mean. So men are primarily externally validated. Women are primarily internally validated. But there are ways that each kind of touch on the different ways of showing and experiencing love and respect. Remember, again and again and again, when I say love, from a male perspective, I'm talking about respect. From a female perspective, I'm talking about nurturing. So men need to feel appreciated for what they provide. Period. They need to feel appreciated. Thank you for this house. I have a job also, maybe. Let's say in this scenario that a man and a woman both work. They both work outside of the home. They may even earn similar incomes. Similar. Not likely, but similar. And yet, if she will just thank him for providing this house. Thank you for this car. Thank you for always making sure that there's gas in the gas tank of my car. Thank you for getting that upgrade whenever we went and chose this for the house or this vehicle or this gadget, because that's actually been really helpful. If she will show her respect for his provision, it goes a long way in internally validating him and him experiencing this love, because he feels respected. He feels seen for what he has provided. Men also need to be shown support and cheerleading to accomplish great things. So one example of this to me is like how you can communicate love and respect to one another so that the other one actually hears it. So if I just tell you, my man, if I tell my man, I love you, he's like, great, I love you too. You know, it's to him, it's like, that's awesome. Okay, cool. That's chill. But if I say, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to, you know, nurture in this way, to have this house to so that I can provide for the family, you know, thank you so much for this. I'm so proud of how you're doing this. All of this, he's like, wow, thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's a whole different response. So when I say, I love you, he's like, that's cool. Love you too. If I say, thank you for providing, thank you for all you do to make sure that this all can happen, he's like, thank you for saying that. That's where it hits him hard. In the same vein, when I've seen this played out in my own children. Females, I say, I love you. And they say, I love you too. And they mean it. That's how they mean it. I love you too. The males, I say, I love you. They say, thanks, Mom. But if I say, I am so proud of you, they feel that. That's how my sons feel the love, is by saying, I'm proud of you. They don't feel it whenever I say, I love you. I love you, baby. They say, thanks. Okay. I know you do. You brought me into this world, you know. I know you love me. But if I say I'm proud of you, I'm proud of how much you're dedicating to your schooling. I'm proud of the way you handle that situation. I am proud of you having the opportunity to be up on that stage. I'm proud of this project that you're working on, that you're leading this team. I'm proud of the support that you give your team, because you know that you're a player on the field and it takes all of you working your hardest to accomplish this goal. I'm proud of you. Then that son of mine is going to say, that's amazing. I feel that. I feel loved when she's proud of me and expresses it in that way. But the girls, I'd be like, oh, I'm so proud of you for doing that. And they'd be like, thanks. Like, that's just what I did. But if you say, I love you, daughter, I love you. I love that you just did that. I love how you did that for me. I love that. Thank you. They feel that as love. That's where they feel warm. So women, this is that internal versus external validation and show of love, respect, and nurturing. Women need to feel connected. This is why we have social outings. This is why we have brunch. This is why we obsess over making sure that we have book clubs and painting groups and play dates. This is why we want to have dates with you. Yeah, we like to get dressed up and go out and do fun things with you. But when we're out on a date with you, it's because we have the connection. We have your time in that moment. That's why we want that, is because it's an excuse to get away from the TV. It's an excuse to get away from distractions. It's an excuse to get away from work. We want the connection with you, that emotional connection, opportunity to actually talk, opportunity to share our feelings with you and feel heard. This is how we show love, and you show us love by letting us do this sometimes. It gets tricky. It gets tricky. We also, women need to be praised for the way we make people feel. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. If we provide food for a family and don't feel like it was seen or appreciated, that's where we get our feelings hurt, and we're less likely to do it again. From my real world experience, I have had several opportunities where I've been able to take a shift, for lack of a better way of saying it, for friends, sometimes family members, but mainly friends or extended family, where I've been able to go to hospitals and kind of be that overnight person, that overnight watch person. Because, you know, when people are in ICU, in, you know, a critical care kind of situation where they're having to stay overnight, but they can't really process what they need or what's going on, the families get very tired. They get tired in these situations. They need a break. And that's where friends, church members, things like that often step in and kind of do a night shift. And it usually is more like an evening, night, through till about the early next afternoon, because families need a break, but the person in that bed, that hospital bed, still needs an advocate. They still need someone to make sure that they're getting their meds, that they're taken care of, that if they need to be rearranged in bed, they've got someone to chase the nursing staff down. All this stuff, and I think the world of nurses, but they're trying to deal with a lot of people and a lot of families. So everyone needs their advocate in a hospital kind of situation. I've had the opportunity to be able to be that person on multiple occasions. There's a vast difference in the way I walk away feeling from being that nurturing person whenever the family appreciates and enjoys and takes full advantage of the rest that they're allowed, the peace of mind that they're given, the fact that they can just kind of go home, sleep for 18 hours, or take a bubble bath, or have a glass of wine, or just not have to think about this as much for a few hours. versus the families who kind of expect you to do it, and they kind of don't really thank you for it, and they kind of don't take full advantage of it. Maybe, you know, they go to a party or something instead, and then they come back feeling more exhausted than they did when they left, which is completely the opposite of the point of the service, right? But women need to feel seen for the nurturing that we do. This is how we feel love. We express love through nurturing, but we need to feel it by you, by others, girlfriends, extended family, by seeing the way that we nurture and showing your appreciation for it. Men need to respect others. They need to be in leadership. They need to show their strength, and they need to feel seen. They show their love by providing. Men show their love by doing things that earn them respect. They feel love by then being respected for those things. Let's see. This is where, kind of circling back to the love language-ish thing. And I feel like that gets kind of a negative connotation in some areas, but there's some real truth to the fact that the way that people show their love is the way they feel like they need to be receiving it. So that's what the basis of the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman truly is. It's just teaching us that not everybody shows love the same, and therefore not everyone wants to feel love the same way. So men show love indirectly through doing things that earn them respect. And then the trickle down effect, what makes it indirect is, so there's the man. He does something to earn him respect. He has a great job. He earns a lot of money. He gets big accomplishments. That indirect show of love, that accomplishment, that earning of respect provides this household. It provides these material objects. It provides the lifestyle that the family enjoys. That's how he shows his love. That's how you guys are best at showing love. And I love that about you. Good job. Women show love directly. We go straight to the source, because indirect, you may not ever get it. That's how we see it. If we're indirect in our show of love, how will you know it's from us? That's not okay. We need you to know that show of love is from us. So women love directly, through direct nurturing of you, through direct cheerleading of you, through annoying you a little bit with our care and our concern. And did you take your vitamins, and did you take your medicines, and did you bring this with you? Do you have this with you? Do you what can I do to help you? This is point A to point B. That's how women show our love. So this is where speaking the same language is nearly impossible. But understanding that what she really wants is to feel like she's seen for her nurturing things and the ways that she works, and it is work, to make your life easier and better. That's where you, men, want to feel seen for all that you provide, all the ways that the world respects you, all the ways that you've earned the respect of your family, of your peers, of your industry. These are the ways that we have to be on board with communicating our love to one another. Love is just a word. It's just a word that describes the feeling associated with respect and nurturing. That's all it is. So men in particular, I feel like get kind of weirded out by the word love. But that's where I want to express again and again. And I want you to really, really have all of this sink in, that her nurturing is her love language. Her appreciating all the ways that you provide is her understanding that that's how you show your love. And this is a good thing. But at the same time, you appreciating that she wants to give you a hug, that she wants to tell you about her day, that she wants to tell you what she's feeling about something. These are the ways that she shows you love. And men and women, like I said at the top of the broadcast here, we are human beings, and that's the only thing that we have in common. We're dichotomous in almost every other way. So expecting each other to communicate the way that we would communicate with ourselves, and it being received in the way that we want it to be received, is absolutely ridiculous. That it doesn't happen that way. It won't happen. And so you have to know that from the start, and in a way be accepting of that, because anything else is going to bring you a lot of frustration. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to just kind of nag you out, and not in that sexy way that we talk about nagging. It's going to be a bummer, because you go from feeling this way about this person and not feeling seen for the things that you do directly and indirectly to provide for them. Now, all that being said, number one, are you on my email list? Because if you're not, I would really love it if you were. With as much effort and love as I put into, I'm on live with you guys every single day in some capacity, at least once. And I love that. And I put a lot into my research to come to you guys with good information. I put a lot into making sure that I am clearly and succinctly telling you, explaining to you why women think and behave the way they do. And because I want you guys to have the best life possible. So if you're not on my email list, I feel like that's where I put like next level effort. That's where I really try to show my respect for you and your time, and your support of my content is through my email. It's free. You can pay for it if you want to. I appreciate it. It's kind of like a tip, but it's free. So if you would sign up for my bunny report, I would really, really appreciate it. I've also got one that's a little bit more of the sexy sex stuff. It's called Adult Education. It's strictly sex stuff. So if you want to learn more sex stuff and what turns women on, that's awesome. However, all that being said, in the realm of what we're talking about today, and the way that men and women communicate with one another and need to love and feel love, I hope that you, if you haven't already, I hope that you will check out this book right here. This is my website, myplayboysbunny.com. If you go to products on that website, you will find a whole list of my complete library of books that I offer. What Women Really Want, if you haven't read that yet, and if today's conversation resonates with you and you need more of this kind of information, this book is a great one for you to check out. So what women really want and why the hell does it matter? Check that out if you haven't already. And I appreciate those of you who've already purchased it and loved it. And I appreciate if you haven't yet seen that book and want to check it out. Please do. None of my books are expensive. They're all, priced so that you can get the maximum benefit out of it without feeling like, you have to sacrifice a kidney over it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I respect your time. Your time is valuable, and it is not lost on me that you spend an hour on this show with me, that you truly do attend Bunny Church. And I hope that you get a lot of really great information and content from this work that I do. So I appreciate and I respect your time. So that's why I try to keep things efficient and effective, give you the lessons, give you the info, and then encourage you to go on about your day and have a great day. So thank you so much for joining me today. Before I close, I want to announce that I am very excited. Wednesday night, and I mean night, Sarah Beth Urich and I are launching a brand new show. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, the first hump day of every month. So the first Wednesday of every month, you can find Sarah Beth and I on Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB, because we are spilling the tea on all things sexy, sexual. We are two sexually enthusiastic girls who not only like to talk about sex, but we're comfortable with it. And we are open to talking about all aspects. So that is what the gist of this show is. It is going to be just disseminating some of the myths and understandings around sex, sex play, sexual questions, sexual hang-ups, sexual kinks, you name it, we will cover it in time. So the first hump day of every month, the first Wednesday of every month, please join Sarah Beth and I for Spicy Tea with Bunny and SB. It's going to be so much fun, and it's just going to be a good time. So thank you for joining me today and every day. I hope to see all of you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for Wake Up with Bunny. And again, if you loved this show today and the information that I shared, I encourage you and I thank you for your purchase of What Women Really Want, the book that can be found on my website, myplayboysbunny.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you are making it a great day in all things. I want you to win, and I want to be your #1 cheerleader in making that happen. Bye.